But you're also the greatest.
We need you to kidnap the president.
Of the United States?
No, the GC Corporation.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur coming to you with another review. This week I checked out Escape from the Bronx, also known as Bronx Warriors 2, and this 1983 film was directed by Enzo Castellari and stars Mark Gregory, Henry Silva, and Valerie D'Obasi, among others, of course. The story of this movie takes place sometime after the first one, and the Bronx is still a zone that's very lawless and controlled by the gangs. However, the city does want to clean it up, but their solution is to just do a demolition and destroy all the buildings and rebuild. So they hire this extermination company to go in there and kick everyone out. Half the time they're just like killing the people. And it is up to our hero named Trash to figure out a way where they can stay in the Bronx. And so he actually has a brilliant plan, and that is to kidnap the president. Will he though? Will that plan work? Well, for that you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. So with this one, I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed it as a sequel. I've only seen the first one a few months ago, I guess, and then reviewed it for this channel. But that one was really, fun. This one, I think, is just as much fun. It's not better, though, and that is not necessarily, a bad thing. It's just as fun, right? And so if you have seen the first one, I think this one is a great continuation of Trash's story. You get to follow him around, still in the Bronx, and see how he's kind of become like a hero amongst his community. And it kind of seems like the city is demolishing everything just to get back at Trash. And so he is kind of a great character that way. And it is just a fun kind of conclusion to his storyline. So yeah, if you've seen the first one, certainly do think about checking this one out. In addition, I thought the story itself as like a premise was pretty fun. Their plan or their solution to, stop the demolition company from destroying everything is to kidnap the president of it and then negotiate with him, rather than, fighting or doing anything like that. And so that was a pretty good plan, I thought, going through it. Of course, it's super simple and super silly, but ultimately, it gives them motivation. It gives them, an end point and a goal to work towards. And so the plot itself is fun as well. What can I tell you? And I gotta say, Trash is the best character in this whole movie. He is such a funny guy just to watch, and, he struts around and he makes all these comments, and it's really cool to see. He is not alone, though. He does have this ex-Vietnam buddy, and he's good, and he has like a son or something, and the son's pretty funny. And then they have this like underground community of, I guess, all the characters from last time, and they just kind of live underground because the surface is so, untenable that they can't really live there anymore. And they're refusing to move too. They're just stuck in this underground bunker the whole time. And it certainly works, but you want to see Trash. You want to see how he's doing. You want to see how he's getting out of this. And you really do root for him. So he is something that you just kind of latch onto, and that you really just want him to succeed and go along with him. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, certainly, probably not that many things. As long as you are into this genre, you're really there for all the stuff that makes it kind of corny and cheesy. And that is there, with the police, or not the police, the demolition, extermination crew. They all have that silver jumpsuit that's kind of hilarious. They have flamethrowers and stuff. It's just so cheesy whenever they light someone on fire. And so all of that certainly is in there. This one is not really kind of like a direct sequel to the first movie because a lot of characters are missing. Like, what happened to the girl in the first one? I don't know. She's not in this one. And so it seems like it's, 15 years later or something, when I don't think that's, the time period between movies, but it seems like it is, quite a bit of time where characters are just lost to us. And, so that is kind of disappointing, but, I went along with it. That's perfectly fine as well. Other than that, of course, it's a dated movie. It takes place in the 80s, and it's kind of like a snapshot of New York in the 80s there, because they're, running around outside, and it's just like everything's so dilapidated and you can't believe it's like really the Bronx. And I don't know, it's a fun thing that way, but there are other things that certainly do not age well. I'll say that. They drop a few F slurs, and like in 2023, it's not really cool to do that. And so it is one of those things where it's in there, so you just have to kind of look past it. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting one from the 80s. As for my recommendation, well, certainly go check out the first one if you haven't seen it, and then check out this one. This one, I think, is not as crazy as the first one. It's more simple, straightforward plot, but it works for what it is, and I would say, go watch this one, especially if you've seen the first one. As for a rating, well, I thought it was a good bad movie, and I certainly enjoyed it as such. So I am going to give it the 4.5. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.